It's probably one of the most common things I get asked as a mental coach is, so how do I get into my zone? And in essence, I think it's a really difficult question to answer in like a single word. However, having researched, read, thought about, spoken to people about, contemplated about, thought about every angle that I can imagine, for me there's a simple idea or concept that I'd like to communicate in this video. Most people say that when they're in the zone, they experience a couple of things. They experience things like it's in the state of flow, things just happen, I do things that I've never done before, my skills just, yeah, I just execute them. And the thing that always gets to me is like, I don't think. That's the one part that they explain is like, it's like I didn't think. And then the other part that they explain often is, like I just let go. And I think those two concepts of not thinking and letting go is what confuses people at times and what makes it difficult to get into that state or zone where things just flow. So I'd like to in this video maybe present an alternative theory around that. And the first thing is, so if we talk about not thinking, I don't really think that's possible. I think like my perception is our brains can't not think. But what we can do with our brains is we can really focus our thinking. So to learn an ability to focus on a single thing or a single idea or a single concept and like shut down all other thinking versus not thinking. It's impossible to not think, but you can really zone in and really focus on one thing. So as an example, cricketers often describe batters, when they get into their zone, they're really just focused on watching the ball, and it's like everything else disappears. They stop worrying about the run rate, they stop worrying about everything else, the bowler, what's going to bowl, so they zone everything out and they really just focus on the ball. So in order to achieve that, in my mind, a batter needs to know a whole bunch of stuff, deal with it, make sense of it. So he needs to understand the wicket, understand the game situation, and almost like it's like the game plan is there and it's falling into place and there's an awareness of it, but at the same time, the focus isn't on that. The focus isn't on the runs and on the wicket and how the ball's behaving and how the bowler's going to bowl it. But they do have an awareness of it and a plan of it. And I think when we don't get into our zone is when we're not clear on that plan. So maybe like the first thing in order to get into your zone is to be crystal clear on your game plan, crystal clear on what is it that I'm going to go do out there. And to be clear on that, a batter needs to take into account, what the wicket's like, what the bowler's like, what the game situation is. Similarly for a bowler, and I'm assuming similarly in life, or other sports, where to get into your zone, there's some things you need clarity on. So the quicker you can get clear on that, it's like one step closer to getting into your zone. The next thing is, once you've done that, is to know what is the single thing that you're going to focus on. So what is the one thing that you know that if I focus on that, it'll allow me to kind of express everything that I am. Once you've found that, and this is the part where I think we've got it slightly wrong at times, is this concept of letting go. I don't think it's letting go. I think it is immersion into. It's rather than saying I'm letting go of everything to be free, it's saying I'm pouring myself into something very specific. So I'm clear about this and I know exactly what it is that I'm going to focus on. And by doing that, that is taking us into this space where there's this focus so that everything else disappears and we can really just zone in and focus on what it is that we want to achieve, which then allows for all our other skills to just kind of fall into place. Bruce Lee has this quote, and I'm quoting kind of ad lib here. It's not necessarily exactly how he said it, but he said, "Be like water, my friend." So if you throw water into a cup, it becomes the cup. If you throw it into a bowl, it becomes the bowl. So it's that ability to be flexible yet specific at the same time. So I think often when people make their game plans and they try and figure out how they're going to approach their game, it's like they're trying to mold themselves around one game plan, where game plan in essence is flexible. But being clear on that game plan up front and knowing what it is that you're going to focus on. So if it's as a batter, if you're focusing on the ball, if as a bowler you're focusing on hitting a certain area, if in life you're focusing on pursuing one goal, if in other sports my mind, like I don't know much about rugby and these sort of things, but there should be one single thing that you can focus on, and by immersing yourself into that, it'll allow you to kind of start expressing all the skills and the things you have. And I think that is in part what gets us to that place where we say, it just flowed and it just happened and I didn't think.